Habari Gani, Kuumba. Habari Gani, Kuumba. Now we've arrived at Principle 6 in our new series, A Kwanzaa Minute by Doc Ock. Principle number 6, Kuumba, creativity. For that principle, we light the 6th candle, 3rd candle on the left, the last of the red candles, for the principle of Kuumba. Creativity. In a nutshell, creativity is being able to create something from nothing, which we're experts at. The proverb for today is a borrowed fiddle can't finish a tune. And this is a Rhodesian proverb. So the proverbial poem to go along with it, I call Something from Nothing. Can you get a tune from a broken fiddle? Can you get blood out of a rock? Can you make sense of a broken riddle? If you can't, maybe what you need is just a little Kuumba. When you can make something from nothing, that's Kuumba. When you invent a windmill to save your village, that's Kuumba. When you can do more with a nickel than a monkey can do with a peanut, that's Kuumba. When you build a factory to make bamboo bicycles, that's Kuumba. When you can turn a frown upside down with little more than a wink and a nod, that's Kuumba. When you create a gas mask that saves thousands of lives, that's Kuumba. Kuumba is what we do when we make things better in our neighborhood. Anytime you do what they said could not be done, that's Kuumba. Kuumba to the left, Kuumba to the right, Kuumba uptown, Kuumba downtown, Kuumba all around. That's what we need today. Kuumba. Tutaanana. Imani.
Hello, I'm Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, and I am honored to participate in your program today that celebrates African heritage. Also, I want to acknowledge all of the board members, current and past, for their work in the long, rich, and winding historical trail of the Tawi family village, and to Miss Emily Bailey, who helped coordinate today's event. Thank you. When I think of how Kwanzaa began in the 1960s, based on ideas borrowed from an ancient African Swahili 7-day-long harvest celebration, I could not think of 7 better principles that are needed as we face so many injustices in our nation, in our state, and right here at home. As you know, Kwanzaa has 7 principles that span from umoja, which means unity, to imani, which means faith. Here are my thoughts on how important unity and faith are to me and my work in Congress. In some of the most contentious times, and in the midst of discussing some of the most divisive topics and working with colleagues' varying views, it is unity that will help us get to the finish line. It is through our faith that change, opportunity, and equality will come. So in the spirit of this first day of Kwanzaa, unity, we must not give up. Collectively, we must push through trying times while supporting one another and coming together as a community. It is time to create and demand change, to speak in one voice and reflect on the blessings of our culture and honor our history and our ancestors. Because divided we are weak, united we are a force. My career success as a proud HBCU graduate, businesswoman, college administrator, Ohio's first female Democratic House leader, United States Congresswoman, and now chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, was aided and guided by many of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, commencing with unity. I think about how throughout history, unity has been a guiding force in voting rights, civil rights, jobs, fair housing, health care, and justice movements. Today, more than ever, in the wake of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Casey Goodson, Andre Hill, and so many others, we need unity. We need unity as we fight the COVID-19 pandemic, economic and racial inequities, poverty, and racism as a national crisis. My call to action is for us to join together in unity as we celebrate Kwanzaa. So, to all witnessing this day, children and adults, in the words of Umoja and Imani, we continue to unite in faith as we hold hands, hold signs, march in our streets, and yes, fight against social injustice. Unity. Happy Kwanzaa. I'm Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, and I approve this message.
Some of the boys is 1A for the draft, man. Now, what we gonna do if they get called? Go underground?
Yeah. If they can beat it, they should. But we recruit every non-vet we can get. Right now, I'm trying to recruit Dawson as a double agent.
Turk, you really think we can win?
In guerrilla warfare, the winning is in not losing. When you sleep on the floor, you can't fall out of bed.
Then what we trying to do, man?
Fight Whitey to a standstill. Force him to make a choice between the 2 things which he seems to dig most of all. There is no way that the United States can police the world and keep us on our ass too, unless we cooperate. When we revolt, we reduce it to a simple choice. Whitey finds out he can't make either.
Man, I simply just love this damn movie. This is a Gye-Nyame journey necessity. This is a Gye-Nyame journey movie that you have to see. If you're not watching this movie, if you're not checking this movie out, you're not Gye-Nyame journey. You're not in the culture, family. But this movie is key, right? If you sleep on the floor, you can't fall out of bed. Key concept. Get it. By the way, Gye-Nyame date 11/27/20-4. Let's get this adventure started. All right, family, we are now checking out a film. Of course, y'all know. I mean, I do it all the time. But it's The Spook Who Sat by the Door, created, I think it was released on September 21st, 1973. Created by a brother by the name of Sam Greenlee. Now, this is a pivotal story for those of us in Gye-Nyame journey. Why? Because the ending is incredible. The story for me has always been incredible because it talked about the possibilities of what happened when a group of black folks get together and decide to determine their own destiny. Now, that's the power of it. But how can I use this in my framework, Brother Hatim? Because racism is not a big thing for me right now, and I'm just trying to advance in my career. So, this scene has 2 major components. First off, it talks about guerrilla warfare. They say in guerrilla warfare, the object is not to lose. Winning is in not losing. So now, as long as you are putting out your brand, you are putting up your advertisements, you are putting up your content, you're doing what you are supposed to be doing, family, you are winning, right? You might not have as many viewers as you want, but you are winning. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have the content out there. You have to be fighting, right? Guerrilla wars are fought by individuals who are committed to a cause, and they go out and they say, boom, I can't beat this individual straight up by going up and facing them one-on-one and, I'm attacking them. So I got to hit, and I got to hit and hide and aggravate them and get them to do stupid things. And in many cases, this is how we got to deal with the media landscape that we are in, right? The internet has been given to us, and we have to be able to throw out content that will spark the minds of those people who think like us, right? And in being able to do that, you know what I'm saying, and you still being able to do that after a certain period of time means that you're not losing. If you are able to put out your content, you're not losing, right? Now, but what we have to do is come up with a structure so that we could go and learn how to put it out so that it could hit as many people as possible. And the only way that you can learn that is through trial and error, experimenting. Because even when you take these expensive ass classes, because some of these classes are expensive, a lot of people start at $1,000 to help you out with what you're doing, right? They're gonna pull $1,000 up out of you, right? But the piece is, even when you take these classes, if you are not active, if you are not using the tools, if you are not identifying your specific niche, your niche, you will always end up losing and feel like you're not making progress. But if you are able still to stream, if you are able to get up and do your stuff on a regular basis, you are winning. Because in guerrilla warfare, and winning is not losing. And you're not losing. So you're still able to put up content for now. All right. So the next piece on here, which is the most important piece because this is the piece I stress. He says that when you sleep on the floor, you can't fall out of bed. Now, I want y'all to think about this, right? Because this is that hard living that many of us that believe in what we're doing, but nobody else necessarily believe in what you're doing. You have to get out and you have to do. You have to get out and you have to go and promote your brand, promote your tribe, and build it. Even though other people might be looking at you like you crazy, right? Even though you may be living hard, you're going to have to downsize like I had to do here at Gye-Nyame Journey.media. You have to downsize in order. You know what I'm saying? So that you could do it, because you can't. I mean, I don't got nowhere to fall. I'm sleeping on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy about this philosophy from this movie is that I lived my 20s and my 30s like this. I always slept on the floor. You know, I was just like, I thought it was about being hard, but no, it's a mind state. If I'm already at the bottom, there's nowhere I could fall. So fuck it. Let me put my shit out here. If I'm already at the bottom, why am I holding all my ideas? Many of you holding your ideas like somebody waiting around to steal them. And even if they steal your ideas, you can find a way to make a come up off of it if it was really your idea. Right? You're sitting on gold mines. I look around me all the time, and I try to remind some of the elders and some of the young people and some of the nation builders and people my age, I try to remind you are a wealth of knowledge. You are a gold mine. I'm looking at a gold mine, and you sitting up here just allowing the gold to stay up on the ground. You're not bringing it up. So what we have to be able to do in what we in our brands is to bring those individuals that we find at our gold mines. They might not even know that they're gold mines, and help them start discovering who they are. And that's what we are here for at Gye-Nyame Journey, to help you discover the gold that's lying in you, to help you discover the oil that's lying in you, to help you to discover those hidden minerals and those hidden gems that can be turned into wealth. Right? Because you already on the floor. You're already sleeping on the floor. You can't fall out the bed. So when you already at the bottom, what the fuck you got to lose by trying to do something trying to expose the world to how you think. You know what I'm saying? What separates how you see the world from how Elijah Muhammad saw the world? What separates how you see the world from how Martin Luther King and those that was involved in the civil rights movement or the Black Panthers? What separates it? You know what separates it? You being quiet, right? You sleeping on the floor, suffering in silence. You're sleeping on the floor with knowledge in silence. You're sleeping on the floor knowing something that could benefit the world in silence. That's what separates you. Elijah Muhammad had an idea that could change the world. Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement, those individuals involved in the civil rights movement had an idea that could change the world. Black Panthers had an idea that could change the world. Many other people out there had ideas that could change the world, but they didn't stay quiet about it. Why? Because they was at the bottom, and when they realized what at the bottom, they realized that they had absolutely nothing to lose. Family, I'm trying to stress the fact that most of us have absolutely nothing to lose. Most of the lives that a lot of us are living, and I know this is going to hit some people in the wrong way, most of the lives that we are living are built on illusions. I'm going to take a sip on that one. Are built on illusions. And we're trying to maintain that illusion by being quiet on the bottom. But you know what you can actually produce on the bottom? Absolutely nothing. But once you start speaking out, you'll be able to expose people to ideas that they might not even thought, or you might be able to confirm ideas that other people had already been thinking about but thought they was crazy because they was the only ones that had the idea. So stop hiding your light. You know what I'm saying? Get out here and do guerrilla marketing. There's a whole book on it called Guerrilla Marketing that you can get into and you can figure out how to market yourself underground. You know what I'm saying? Hell, you can get with Gye-Nyame Journey and we can help you with that, right? We got our free 7-day e-course. We advise different people who want to do social media campaigns and things like that. And we can help you grow your idea. We can help you grow your brand. We can help you grow your tribe. Or hell, we could welcome you into our tribe. Stop being satisfied with being stuck. It's not sexy. It's not sexy. Sleeping on the ground is not sexy. I know for some of y'all, it's like, oh, poverty and blah, blah, blah. It makes me hard, blah, blah, blah. That shit's not sexy. After you did it for a while, it's not sexy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Get sexy. Get a bed. Stop sleeping on the goddamn floor. Internet has provided all of us with a possibility of building a bed. What are you building? By being quiet. By just looking at other people's shit. And I know I can't be the only one with this, like, damn, I thought about that years ago, and somebody else is doing it on the internet and blowing up. That don't frustrate you? All right. So, yo, check it out. Hit us up on our Facebook page. Hit us up on our Instagram page. Hit us up on our Twitter page. Hit us up inboxes, right? Or you could just go to GNJ.media and join the tribe, right? Come on out. And we can help you develop the idea and build up what it is that you're trying to do. I want to thank you. I am Brother Hatim, and I am a part of Gye-Nyame Journey Tribe. Actually, it was called Gye-Nyame Tribe. Then we added the Journey, blah, blah, blah. That's a long story. I'll get into that a little bit later. But it's Gye-Nyame Journey. You know what I'm saying? Come and join us at Gye-Nyame Journey. That allows us to help you push forward and build what it is that you have. You know what I'm saying? You got a business idea. Why are you sitting on it? If you got an ebook idea, why are you sitting on it? If you got a e-course, why are you sitting on it? You know what I'm saying? The world needs to hear your voice, and we're here to help you expand it. But hey, if you satisfied sleeping on the floor, you know what I'm saying? Just don't come at us with no righteous shit. Because sleeping on the floor when you don't have to sleep on the floor is not righteousness. I'm just saying. It's something else. And that's something that you have to figure out. And I hope you do. This is Brother Hot Tim. Once again, we are GNJ.media. You see it up on the screen right now. I am out. Watch the next video. Watch the next video. Watch the next video. No, I'm just joking, family. Family, thank you for joining us. Be sure to catch us on the next video, family. Peace. Watch the next video. Watch.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending the Kwanzaa event for 2021. And what I am getting ready to do right now is that in the spirit of Kwanzaa, I am asking and inviting all of the elders that are 55 years and older to step into the room and please take your place.
When we hear the drum call, everyone should quietly go to their seat and wait for the elders to be escorted to the front of the room to their place of honor. However, in this year, 2020, we know that COVID-19 has caused every organization to do things differently. So we're having a virtual celebration. An elder is anyone older than 54 years, and we honor them by asking them to come to the front of the room. But because we are virtual, we're asking our elders to make sure they are attending the Zoom celebration with us. We honor them because of their life experiences. We value that. And many of us have learned a great deal about the 7 principles of Kwanzaa even before we knew what they were called. Elders teach and guide us through life lessons for the rest of our lives. Elders, I ask for your permission to continue our program.
As you have heard,
Amen.
I go. As you have heard, in words that are spoken in Swahili, we use the words "ago," which means "may I have your attention," and we also use the words "ame," which means "may I have your permission to speak."
The formal greeting is really a Swahili term as well, habari gani, which means what's the news. So if I say habari gani, then your comment would be Ujima habari gani, because Ujima is the 3rd principle and today is the 3rd day. Our theme?
Our theme for Kwanzaa 2021 is as follows: creating a legacy for our heritage and our culture.
As you know, our African beliefs and practices are in constant change in the world we live in today. However, we have to hold strong to the belief that culture is the fundamental source of a people's identity, their purpose, and their direction. In 1619, when the slaves came to America, the white man tried very hard to erase our culture. Today, we have to continue to honor it and keep it in the present so that our children will have a better future. Ashe?
Ashe.
My name is Sandra McLean, and I am the board president of Project Ujima. I am also a retired educator from the Akron Public Schools. My other volunteer effort is with the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. I am a Silver Star and a life member of that organization, and my sisters know that I love them dearly. And now I would like to introduce you to my Mr. of Ceremonies, Mark Foster, and he'll tell you a little bit about himself.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Kwanzaa. My name is Mark Foster, and I am a member of Project Gye-Nyame, and it is an honor and a privilege to be working with Ms. Sandra McLean on the program this evening. Thank you.
Now Keish will explain libations.
A libation is a ritual pouring of a liquid as an offering to a god or a spirit, or a memory of those who have passed on. It was common in many religions of antiquities and continue to be offered in various cultures today. Water is suggested as it holds the essence of life and should be placed in the communal cup and poured in the direction of the four winds. And it should be passed around the families and used a sipping gesture when you're doing so. And today we want to pour libations. And we want to honor those who have gone before us, who laid a foundation for us to continue on, those we want to bring into the space. And so we want to just honor them by calling out their names. And then I'll pour water into this fresh plant. And then after doing so, we just complete with saying Ashe. So I start by honoring my grandmother, Elvie Hayes, my brother, Troy Hayes, and my father, Julius Irvin. Ashe. And I would like each of you to honor those who have gone before us, or any ancestors, by calling out their names, and we'll honor them with pouring water and saying Ashe.
Irene Hollingsworth, my mother.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Carolyn Reed, my mother.
Ashe.
Evelyn Finney, my mother.
Ashe.
Thelma Davis.
Ashe.
Thelma Davis, my mother. And
Ashe.
L.B. White, my
Ashe.
father.
John Lewis, activist.
Ashe.
Fannie Lou Hamer.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe, thank you.
And now my sisters will come forth and bring you some food for thought.
Thank you, Sister Sandra. And we will bring you food for thought. My name is Gwen Gamblin, and I also am a sister of Sandra McLean. I
Mm. Can't hear you.
You're muted, Gwen.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you, Sister Sandra. Along with some other members of our Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, Zeta Theta Omega chapter here in Akron, we're going to bring you some proverbs today. And first of all, I want to say, we will not know ourselves if we do not know our history. And some of our history comes through the Kwanzaa celebration. We have learned about a lot of our history through that. Ashe?
Ashe.
Okay. Ujima, the principle of collective works and responsibility, which guides us from day to day. Okay, so also I want to tell you what proverbs are. Some proverbs are good proverbs and some are inspirational proverbs. They are usually short, well-known sentences containing a wise thought, but usually not traceable because they've come down through generations from our parents, our grandparents, even our great-great-grandparents. And sometimes they could not even tell us where it came from. They just heard it, repeated it, and told us. Also, a good understandable proverb can be the heart of a story. It tells us a story and enhances reliability of what is being said or conveyed to whomever we're speaking to. It usually leaves a lasting impression or impact on the listener. Let us not, excuse me, let us not be a person of success, but a person of value. One small positive thought, being in the form of a proverb, can change your whole day, your week, or your entire life. Sometimes when one states a proverb, it's usually start us by thinking positive, as said before, and we try to keep the proverb and their meaning in our culture. So therefore, our children will hear the proverb. They may take it down to their children. So let's keep the proverbs going as we have done so far. Also, adhering to the principle of Gye-Nyame means to build and maintain our community together and make the problems of our sisters, our brothers, our sons, our daughters, let's make them their problems our problem. And we need to work together to help solve those problems. Help our young people, all our people, to rebuild our community. This is one of our responsibilities of the community. We see crime on a daily basis. I know when I was younger, we did not see crime and hear of crime like we do today. Our young, our old are being killed, dying unjustly. Our rights are being denied. So we must pull together collectively. In doing so, many proverbs have been passed down to try to keep our culture very strong. One of our proverbs that I know in the past that I've heard is, the pen is mightier than the sword. One should try to convince people with their ideas and their words rather than trying to force them to do what they want them to do. Such as, for instance, with our protests. We try to protest peacefully, but sometimes we're denied by the persons in blue, usually because of the color of our skin. They want to force us back using swords, so to speak, rather than words. Now we have a few of our ladies here, and I'm going to tell you, we have Louetta Daniels from AKA, Alpha Kappa Alpha. We have our president, Dana Lagarde. We also have Renea Williams, and we have Dr. Peggy Honaker. And they will all give you a proverb, recite it for you, to you, and explain to you what it means to them. Thank you. Go ahead, so we'll start with Sister Louetta Daniels.
Thank you for having me back for a second year and doing the Proverbs. I really enjoyed it last year, and I'm enjoying it now. Thank you very much. I'm Louetta Daniels. I'm an AKA and a retired educator and a retired mental health worker from Akron Children's Hospital. My Proverbs is, ants are tiny, but they lift things that are many times their size and weight. Now, to me, this means just because you're short, and I happen to be a short person, so I thought that was very appropriate to get this one to read. I am under 5 feet, and just because I cannot reach things, I do not let it bother me. I get a ladder, or I'll get something that I can stand on that's going to be sturdy and reach up to get it, or ask someone to help. I do not let my height stop me from doing anything. Never have. Matter of fact, I don't even think that I am short until I'm standing next to somebody that I think is short and they're taller than me. And I'm like, wow, I guess I am kind of short there. And when it comes to weight, if I can't lift anything that is heavy, I'm going to ask for help. I got my sisters to help me with the AKA. I got family members that can help me. I am not too proud to ask for help, nor am I too selfish, not at all, to give help. If I see someone that needs help with something, I'm going to be the first to go up there and help them. Not ask them if they need it, I'm going to do it. And then I always know that God said he will never leave me nor forsake me. And I know that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Dana Lagarde, president of the Zeta Theta Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha. My proverb today is make a bed for the children of other people in the place where your children sleep. Let me repeat that. Make a bed for the children of other people in the place where your children sleep. When I read this proverb, it is in essence the golden rule, where Jesus instructs us on Matthew's 7th chapter, 12th verse. In everything to do to others as you would have them do to you. This is the law and the prophets. Simply said, God commands us to treat others the way we want to be treated. John 2nd chapter, 8th verse. If ye fulfill the royal law according to the scripture, which is thou love thy neighbor as thyself, ye do well. After reading this proverb, it is not speaking of a place or a location, but it is how we treat others. If we show the same love, consideration, and patience to others as we give our loved ones, what a wonderful and different world we will find ourselves. What if every teacher taught each child as if they were conducting a lesson for their child or grandchild? What if every nurse cared for all patients as if they were aiding their mother or father? And what if every police officer approached every vehicle as if there was their loved one sitting behind the wheel? We may not be teachers, nurses, or police officers. However, we are all under the same law as everyday individuals. We must approach every interaction as if our loved ones stood across from us, using love, compassion, and patience. If we model this concept, what a different world we will have. We would find ourselves in successful, rewarding, and loving relationships, both individually and in our community. Thank you.
Hello, I am Renia Williams. I am the principal of Barber COC with Akron Public Schools, and I too am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. My proverb today is, what is looked for by many will have a finder. The word will in this proverb is an operative word that enforces the Lord's Prayer stating, thy will be done. The word will is definitive, not helpful, not wishful. Will is a word of action, a verb that is definitive. Will states things will happen. It's the belief our ancestors have held since 1619. It confirms the word Imani, one of the 7 principles, meaning faith. In our culture, we have faith and believe with our hearts in our people, in righteousness and victory of our struggles. We will overcome social injustice. We will overcome our struggles. We will have equality. We will be successful. We will. My second proverb is, if birds travel without coordination, they beat each other's wings. Birds travel in a V formation when they fly. Birds fly at wing's length apart, but they don't hit each other or destroy the V formation. The birds have one leader. All other birds follow that leader to get to their destination. Like the birds, we must support each other. We must have a purpose. We have a destination. We must continue to unite and work together to get to our destination. There is a benefit of working together. Unity is one of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. We must continue to work towards having unity within our culture.
Peggy, are you there?
Hello,
Okay, we can
my
hear you.
name is Peggy, Dr. Peggy Honaker. Thank you for asking me I'm honored to be a part of this program this evening. My proverb is Oh, first of all, I am a retired teacher from the Akron Public Schools, having taught at Schumacher and also worked at the University of Akron as a associate professor. My proverb: when minds are sane, that which is far off will come. My interpretation of this proverb means when we're on one accord and together and all together, we work collectively and responsibly, we can get the job done sooner and it won't seem so far off. In Proverbs 16:32, it states, undisturbed mind and heart are the life and health of the body, but envy, jealousy, and wrath are like the rottenness of the bones. And this is also in James 1:19. God wants us to love one another, and that is one of our first prerequisites for learning how to be alive today. We are to each one reach one and help one another as we lift as we climb. And the principle, the third principle of Kwanzaa, Ujima, does translate into collective work and responsibility. And we cannot work alone. No man is an island. We have to work together, and that's what we do alongside of, I do that alongside of my sisters in the sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. But we also have to learn how to love one another and work together. That is the essence of our minds being on one accord. So we come together, we work together, we help one another, and nobody is more important than anyone else. We lift as we climb. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We have one of our members missing tonight, so I'm just going to give you her proverb. And her proverb was, when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. I've always thought if you work together, you can usually accomplish what looks like an impossible task. As in an organization or at work, when you form that team concept, things will be much easier for all involved. If all the spiders put their web together, or all people, and unite, they can catch that big lion because they are strong enough. Just recently, within our sorority, I was challenged with completing what I thought was impossible in the time frame I had been given. But 6 of us divided up the task, and lo and behold, we completed it with time to spare. Great teamwork with an awesome team. We spun that web. So this is the end of our Proverbs, and as you see, all the Proverbs express love, togetherness, and helping, and teamwork. And without teamwork, without togetherness, helpfulness, and love, things are difficult to do. So we want to continue with that. And as we continue also, one of our missions are, as we go forward today and tomorrow, is service to all mankind. So with this, I would like to say thank you again to all the sisters of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and I'm going to turn this back over to my other sister, Miss Sandra McLean.
I go.
Ashe.
I may.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I was going to add a note. I'm between 2 calls right now. A tech call for the Kwanzaa statewide thing and your call. Only thing I would ask you, young.
Can't hear you.
I can't hear him. We can go ahead, Miss Sandy, with the.
Okay. Thank you, my sisters of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. And now we will have the singing of the National Black Anthem. And those of you that are on Zoom, hum along if you would like.
earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening and resound out as a roaring. Sing a song full of the faith that the darkness has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day began. Let us march on till victory is won.
Just say something. She gonna love it.
That was beautiful. Thank you very much for that rendition of the Black National Anthem. My name is Taba, and I'm here to further explain more about Kwanzaa. And first, I'd like to just talk about and say that Kwanzaa is an African-American and Pan-African holiday which celebrates family, community, and culture. Celebrated from December the 26th through January the 1st, the origins of the first harvest celebrations of Africa it takes its name from a longer name called Matunde ya Kwanzaa, which means first fruits in Swahili. And Swahili is a Pan-African language that is spoken by more people across Africa than any other language. Kwanzaa was established in 1966 in the midst of the Black freedom movement, and thus reflects its concerns for cultural groundedness and thought and practice. It was created by Dr. Malana Ron Karinga. He was a professor of Africana Studies at California State University. And he had an organization in Long Beach, California. He had an organization called the Organization US. They were the founders of Kwanzaa in 1966. And he's a scholar, activist who stresses the indispensable need to preserve continuity, revitalize, and promote African American culture. Finally, Kwanzaa then is a time of ingathering of the people to reaffirm the bonds between them. It's a time of special reverence for the creator and creation of beauty and creation. Third, it's a time of commemoration of the past in pursuit of its lessons and in honor of its models of human excellence and our ancestors. Fourth, it's a time of recommitment to our highest cultural ideals in our ongoing efforts to always bring forth the best of African cultural thought and practice. And five, it's a time of celebration of the good of life and existence itself, the good of family, community, and culture, the good of the awesome and the ordinary. In a word, the good of the divine, natural and social. And as you can see, I've set my Kwanzaa table, the symbols up, and I'd like to just go over them. I know that with all that's here, it's hard for you to see the very first symbol of Kwanzaa, and there are 7 symbols, and then there are 2 supplemental symbols. And the first one that we should put down on our table, and if you can, the best Kwanzaa table is one that's kind of lower to the floor. And the first thing that you put down on your table is your mat, or the mkeka. And the mkeka is symbolic of our tradition and history, and therefore the foundation on which we build. And everything else then is put on the mkeka, the mat. The next thing you want to put on your mkeka is the kanara, or the candle holder. And the candle holder is symbolic of our roots, our parent people, continental Africa. And so this is what is known as the Kanara. And it has 7 places for the Mashuma Saba. And the Mashuma Saba are the 7 candles. And again, I have young ladies here who are going to, Gabby and Jasmine, who are going to come forward in a moment and explain what each of the 7 principles stand for, the matrix. And these are a set of minimum standards that we hope that everyone will live by during Kwanzaa and throughout the life, throughout the rest of the year, not just celebrate December the 26th through January the 1st. The next thing you'll see on the mkeka or mat is the Kikombe Cha Umoja, the unity cup. And during COVID time, you know, we're not getting ready to drink after each other. So it's symbolic. It's symbolic of the foundational principle and practice of unity, which makes all else possible. So again, I urge you, everybody in the family, get a nice cup, pour a little water, apple juice, grape juice, what have you, and then we just toast to each other at the same time with the Kikombe Cha Umoja. Next thing you'll see, the Mazeo, and you'll see that this is our, our crops over on this side, the crops. And these are symbolic of African harvest celebrations and the rewards of productive and collective labor. Many of us, we know, I don't have, well, we started a garden over at the Zalika Gathering Home, and that was fun, but it was a lot of work too. So most of us are not that great at gardening, but our fruits of our labor come in many different formats. In Africa, yes, we were harvesting people, and we celebrate when that food comes forward. So that means we're gonna eat for the year. But again, we can call our jobs, you know, fruits of our labor, and the money that we've been able to maybe set aside and can help someone else. That's the fruits of our labor. So again, that's symbolic. And then next on the Keka is our muhindi. And these are ears of corn. And the muhindis are symbolic of our children and our future. So again, I raised 4 young people, children, so I put 4 ears of corn or muhindi on my mkeka mat. And then finally, you'll notice over on the right-hand side, or hopefully it's right-hand side or left, are the zawadi or gifts. And again, what in African culture and during Kwanzaa, we want the gifts to be labors of love of the parents and the commitments made and kept by the children. So again, children, you always say you better be good. We want you to be good for goodness sake, for Kwanzaa, that you make a commitment to do certain things, whether that's get good grades, come in during curfew and all those kind of things, and practice what we should be practicing during COVID, then those are the commitments you make to your family. And for that, you get rewarded with, hopefully during Kwanzaa, books for your educational learning, maybe some handmade soap. This one I saved from last year because I thought it was just beautiful. It was the red, black, and green soap, handmade items. This I got from Lakeisha, and this was a cookie. It says Black Girl Magic. So again, it's real artistic. And I always put my little African symbol, a dial on the table. And then I think Brother Mark is going to read from this book. He's mentioned it already, but this is my copy of Hair Love. So this treat is coming soon. And so without any further ado, I'd like to ask my assistants to come forward and let's light the candles. Every night you're going to light 1 candle of Kwanzaa. And the first night, of course, we're going to light the black candle for unity, and that's the one in the middle. Okay. Night number 2 is Kujijakalia, and it's our first red candle. Another one. Get that Kujichakalita candle lit. And then tonight is Ujima, so we're gonna come over and light one green candle, Ujima. And once you have your candles lit, this is a time when you're sitting around the table and it's time to talk about what does Ujima mean in our family? How has each of us practiced collective work and responsibility? So again, I'd like Gabby and Jasmine to pick up the 7 symbols of the Nguzo Saba and just recite to us what they mean.
Imoja, unity. To strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Imoja. Kuji Shakalia. Self-determination. To define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Kuji Shakalia. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. To build and maintain our community together, and to make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. Ujima. Kuumba, creativity. To always do as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it. Kuumba. Nia, purpose. To make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Nia. Ujima, cooperative economics. To build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. Ujima. Imani, faith. To believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, in the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Imani.
Thank you, Gabby and Jasmine. Gabby and Jasmine are the daughters of our vice president of our board of directors, Chris Faulkner. And he was kind enough to drop them by a little earlier today. And so we've been practicing for this today. So I'm so happy to have them with me. What I forgot to mention, you probably noticed right out front, and that is one of our supplemental symbols of Kwanzaa, and that is the bendera. And that is the red, the black, and the green flag. And that flag was given to us by the Honorable Marcus Garvey back in the 1930s. And again, red standing for the struggle, green standing for the earth, black standing for us, the race. So we praise the red, the black, and the green. Thank you. I guess I should say one more thing. I don't have it here with me, and I do apologize for that. We can also put on our display when we're doing our Kwanzaa symbols another supplemental symbol, and that is just having a poster of the Nguzo Saba. Normally we would just post those up somewhere, the 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba, but you can also purchase a poster and just have it situated. So again, those are the 2 supplemental, but the other 7 are all here. Thank you.
Thanks, Taba. And thanks, ladies. As the girls share with you the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, let us remind you that the 3rd principle of Kwanzaa is Ujima. And now Keish will introduce how Project Ujima has chosen to celebrate collective work and responsibility.
Thank you, Ms. Sandy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Thank you for our partnership with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We definitely appreciate you for jumping in with us and doing this for the community. And so Project Ujima, we chose to honor this day, collective work and responsibility, because, well, one way we chose to honor is just to honor someone in the community who exhibits collective work and responsibility. That's part of our name. We've been in the organization in this community for over 11 years, and we're a grassroots community engagement organization that teach and facilitate a discussion process. And we know that relationship building and working together is the cornerstone of how we grow, how we get things done. And so there are people that we work with in the community that we like to honor. And so one of those people tonight is Tyron. He is a member of this community, and he dedicates his time tirelessly to continue to bring arts to our community and to continue to work with small nonprofit organizations like our own. He's always keeping us in the forefront in the mind and helping us raise funds, which isn't an easy task, right? And so tonight we wanted to bring Brother Tyron to you this evening and honor him with this plaque that's named after our co-founder, Crystal L. Jones. And this is the Crystal L. Jones Collective Work and Responsibility Award presented to Tyron Houston 2020. And so we thank you for your work in the community. We honor you for your work and partnership that you do with Project Ujima. And at this time, we would like for you to share a few words, if you will, about a little bit about you, and then some of the work that you do.
Hey, absolutely. This is a big surprise. I didn't know this was happening until tonight. So again, as you heard, my name is Tyron. I'm a playwright. I'm a writer, an actor. I just like to do, creative things and keep my hand in anything that involves storytelling. I heard a quote earlier tonight that said, "The pen is mightier than the sword." If we can write those stories and write who we really are and what we really stand for and what we represent, that will speak much louder to the world, and that'll be much more valuable if we can pass that on. So that's always kind of been my feeling. And I don't want to make myself sound too grand or anything. I also just like to write stuff that's fun and adventurous. I'm not, somebody who's all big and successful. I still live here in Akron. I still have tons and tons of stuff I'm trying to make happen. But I've been able to do some small plays and some small things in the community. And it's just nice that Ujima has recognized me. I was not, was not expecting that, or wasn't asking for it, or wasn't hoping for it. But I really mean that it is very, very humbling. And I don't say that just to be political, because that would be the appropriate thing to say, right? No, I really mean it. It is really humbling that just me doing what I felt was the right thing, what I felt kept me principled, which was by, trying to give and be a part of Ujima, that to them, that meant something. Because to me, they mean something. So to see that there's a mutual respect there, that means a lot to me. So once we get off here, I'm gonna update my resume. I'm gonna take my little University of Akron degree off of there. I'm gonna put that Ujima says I'm okay, because I think that speaks a little bit louder, to be recognized by the people whom you live with. So that's a good thing going forward. The people, you may talk a good game, but the people who hear you talk, what do they have to say about you? What do your neighbors have to say about you, the people you work with? So that's why this means so much to me. And again, I say thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. We're turning it back to you, Miss Sandy and Mark.
Thank you, Keish, and congratulations, Tyron. And now we'll have some cultural expressions. First will be Vivian Taylor with a poetic expression, followed by Mark Foster with a book reading called Hair Love.
Good evening, everyone. It's such an honor to be here at one of my favorite orgs that I love volunteering at. That has helped shape me as a social worker and as a fellow Black woman. So the theme tonight is collective work, and that is exactly what my poem, Collective Work and Responsibility, is about. It's my responsibility to show up for members of my community, which is Black, Black, Blackity Black. So through trials and tribulations, just know I got your back. So if sis needs money to make rent for her seats, I'm cutting the check for no questions asked. If bro needs a job, I'm lending my network to get him to work. If your cousin needs a recommendation, I'm putting my pen to paper without hesitation. Because I want my fellow sis to level up like Sierra. Want to see my brothers move on up like the Jefferson in that penthouse apartment. To the young kinfolk, I pour out my words of wisdom without shame or judgment. Just planting seeds that will one day bloom into the next Obama, Ida, or Whitney Young. Paying it forward in the spirit of my elders, the deacons and deaconess and ancestors, who all molded me to be my best and their wildest dreams, a Black joy. So let's pour out libations and grab a glass to toast to this Kwanzaa celebration. Thanks.
Ashe. And now we're here from Mark.
Yes, hello everybody who's participating in the program. One of the things that I wanted to actually donate to the group and wanted to share was something that was near and dear to my heart. I found recently. It's a storybook called Hair Love, and I'm showing it on the screen. This is actually also a short Black animated film. And the guy, his name is Matthew A. Cherry. He actually won an Academy Award for this animated book that celebrates Black hair. And what it also celebrates is the bond between a mother, father, and the daughter. Because this time, the father is actually working on the little girl's hair for a special event that she has at school. So I'm going to read you a small excerpt of the book and want to encourage anybody who wants to give it to their daughter or even give it to their son to allow them to embrace their natural hair. So here's a bit of the excerpt from the book, Hair Love. Zuri's hair lets her be her. Its coils and kinks to perfectly match a princess or a superhero. And I will end by saying sometimes love looks like braids, puffs, and twists. Thank you so very much. And I turn it back over to Miss McLean.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
This has been a fun-filled educational evening. And as we come to a close, there are some thank yous that we would like to say. So Mark, you want to thank our partners and those that are participating?
Yes, I will. I would definitely like to send out a special thank you to Project Ujima. I would also like to thank the women of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and I would also like to thank the Akron Kwanzaa Committee. Thank you guys so very much for your help, your time, and your effort. It is definitely appreciated, and it was an honor and a privilege to get a chance to work with you.
And now, before we do our Asifa praise, we have just a few announcements. Number one, today is the third night of Kwanzaa Ujima. Tomorrow will be night number 4, Cooperative Economics, which is Ujamaa. And it will be shown as well on the official Akron Kwanzaa Facebook page. Or you can also find it on G&J Media website from 6 to 8. Now, don't forget those, everybody. The other thing I'd like to encourage, if by some chance you are looking for a place to volunteer your time, please think about Project Ujima. We would love to have your ideas, your expertise, because as you can see, we're all about the community. We hope you had a wonderful evening and enjoyed what we have prepared for you. Mark, we're ready for Sifa.
Okay. May we always remember those who have gone before us. May we be inspired by their vision and their valor. May their lives continuously remind us that service is more important than success, that people are more important than possessions, that principle is more important than power. May whatever we do be shaped and molded by honesty, competence, and commitment. May our children and our children's children carry forth with pride the nobility of our history and traditions. To the Creator of all of us, we dedicate our lives to make the world better and more beautiful. Ashe.
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 And now, as we close out, everybody, Harambe, which means let's pull together. Let us say it together 7 times. Harambe. Harambe.
Harambe.
Harambe.
Harambe.
Harambe. Harambe. Harambe.
Harambe.
Good night, everyone, and thanks for joining us.
Good night, and thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Watch the next video. Watch the next video. Watch the next video. No, I'm just joking, family. Family, thank you for joining us. Be sure to catch us on the next video, family. Peace. Watch the next video. Watch.
The problem here now is now we're learning who owns the intellectual property of black imagination. Now is going to be a 21st century issue. Jazz is great, but who owns it? Blues is great, but who owns it? And then if this is not capital, no wonder I can't make my own movies. Who owns the capital? If black people, if you harvest, if black people have produced so much cultural wealth in, leave sport out, just in jazz and blues and gospel and American music that goes all over the world, how come they don't have a cent of that capital in order to extend and transform and transaction the future and the present imaginative process? How come they can't finance their own movie? Why are they still poor? To me, if I even only owned Billie Holiday's music, I would make 20,000 movies. I'm sorry. So who owns the intellectual product of black people? Intellectual literature, even now, black publishers, for example.
Jarima is a name that each of us need to know, and we need to sketch it in our minds. And if you have not seen the movie Sankofa, shame on you. You need to go get it. You need to buy it. Do not just watch it on YouTube. Buy it. Support this man's art and support what he's doing, because this brother changes lives. Because after you see Sankofa, you will never be the same. Now let's get this adventure started. This is Brother Hatim at GNJ.media. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Right now, we got Haile Gerima breaking down the battlefield of the 21st century, and that is the battlefield of intellectual property. Not just intellectual property worldwide, but Black intellectual property. Who will own it in the 21st century? We have created tons and tons and megatons of creative products. We created jazz, we created blues, we created hip hop. And the question that needs to be part of the argument that we are having in this reparations battle and all these other battles, who owns that intellectual property? We got white companies that have been building up for the last 100 years their war chest, because in a sense they kind of are preparing for what's coming in the future, because we're coming for our shit, right? There's a lot of intellectual property out here. And speaking of intellectual property, who owns yours, right? Are you creating? If you are creating, then who owns yours? Have you created a brand? Have you created a tribe that can surround and not only eat off of what you're creating, but be there to protect it? Because people are coming from it, family. Because I keep telling y'all, content is king. Family, listen, a lot of y'all are sitting on these brilliant projects, these brilliant ideas, and you're just sitting on them. Like you, I mean, it's like you the goose with the golden egg, and you just too scared to stand up and share the golden egg with the world. Get up off your ass. Let everybody see the golden eggs that you laying. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people may be able to benefit from what you have, what you're trying to hide. You know what I'm saying? And we have to stand up not only for our own creativity, but we got to stand up for the creativity of our ancestors, because our ancestors left us a gold mine, but many of us don't realize it's a gold mine because we have been excluded from that part of the business. Family, let me tell you, right now the music industry is making billions off of the creativity of your ancestors. Right now the movie industry is making billions off the creativity of your ancestors. Right now every industry out there in some form or fashion is benefiting off of us, and we're not benefiting from the fact that they are able to benefit. They have established their borders, and they have to establish what they own. So they own the jazz recordings, they own the blues recordings, they own the movies. Family, one, we got to wage war to get back what's ours, and then on top of that, we got to establish our borders and start protecting what we are and will be currently creating. Many of you right now are nurturing babies that will grow up to be sensations, that will grow up and be the next Michael Jacksons, the next Spike Lees, the next whoever. He asked the question, if we have all of this creative capital, why is it that we can't finance our own movies? He said if he owned Billie Holiday's catalog alone, he will make 20,000 movies. Why? Because he will own the rights to all of the stuff that she has, and that money, when other people want to use Billie Holiday stuff, will have to come to him. But it's not coming to our community. It's financing other people's children's dreams, not ours. Family, we need to start talking about ownership. Ownership. And the first thing that you can establish is the ownership of your own stuff, and the money that we start compiling from what we start owning as groups, as families, as tribes. We could go on and throw some of that into a pot, and have a pot so that we could go out and start fighting for the other intellectual property that truly belongs to us and should be financing us. Yo, this is Brother Hatim, and if you have a creative idea that you are sitting on, that you want to bring to the public, right, and you need help with that, you need to check with us at Gye-Nyame Journey inbox us on our Facebook page, inbox us on our YouTube page. Hit us up at gnj.media. You know what I'm saying? Let us know what help you need. We can help you with a social media campaign. We can help you develop your podcast. We can help you develop your streaming platform. We can help you create commercials. We can help you with your ebooks and your e-courses. That's what we do. So go on and plug in and join the tribe. Watch the next video. Watch the next video. Watch the next video. No, I'm just joking, family. Family, thank you for joining us. Be sure to catch us on the next video, family. Peace. Watch the next video. Watch.
Habagani, Elder West, I'm due to appearance, but I'm dealing with the COVID thing, which I'm looking at it from a point of view of learning. We're standing here at the Kwanzaa display that put together for the state of Ohio, the United States throughout, and the international group. We're going to look at it from one point of view, and that point of view is an African-centered point of view that we understand it. As we came to this in the beginning, a long time ago, we understood from the European point of view of reading from left to right. That is not our way, as I understand it. Our way is the way of the universe and its movement. When we move through this display here, or this tribute, we will move from right to center to left and home. But we have to know where we are. We're standing what is called the South, but we're looking at it from a point of view is once I know I'm standing in the South, I'm looking north, east is to my right, and west is to my left. This is important because of the symbolism that we're talking about. The symbolism is the movement of the sun. When the Africans was asked, how do you know who you are, and where you're going? They brilliantly came up with the sun as a reference point and how the sun moves. Of course, this is, metaphor, but it's a beautiful one. All throughout the continent of Africa, as I understand it, this understanding of movement is understood and done in different languages. Let's start at daybreak, over there in the black. It's dark, and then the sun begins to break through. And when the sun breaks through, it brings with it the message from the previous journey, which we'll get to, and there's many of those. In this particular case, the Sankofa bird is saying, don't forget. Now, of course, there's two Sankofa symbols. This is the bird for war, and there's also the one with the heart. Both of them, tell you to look back and learn from that. Here we have two real important books amongst many. Intellectual Warfare by Brother Jake Carruthers, Ma'aturu, and also Urugu from Marina Ani. And we also have some of our local current brothers. This book by Brother Lundy. And there's others here that also talk about our connection. This one here is by Baba Mariba Kelsey, and it talks about being healthy and wealthy. And of course, that'll make you wise. Looking at the other books, it takes us further into who we are. And as we looked at the darkness and the sun coming up, down here is a case, and inside that case, we built the fire that we use for Kwanzaa. This is the 2017 Kwanzaa group right here. And from their knowledge, I'm pretty sure we moved on to the one that we have now, which is the 2021, which is totally virtual. But going back to the light, this is representing the work that is done. And we bring kindling and stuff. I can't open it because if I open it, the smell of ash and all of that will come. But from that fire, we transfer it to the lantern. But in this day and age of the tradition and reason, we also can transfer the light. Once the fire is built, we put this light across, and we now have this light, which we can use. We also can use this as we move this in the fire. And this is showing that. So we say that work has to be done in order for the fire to come about. When we move now to our right, going this way, okay, to our left, we see the black drum. And then we move over to the next one, the red drum, and then we move over to the next one, which is white. They all have different voices. And of course, we have to move into the area of reason. Well, a lot of the schools and places we go have these drums, which is a combination of, let's say, synthetic pieces. But these drums, we have to work with the kids with. And when we work with the kids, we let them know that this is the drum. We move here because this particular drum was made for us. We ordered by Brother Jabbar and Brother Baba Shango on Nelson Road and some other artists. This is a community drum that we bring out only at certain events. We're now still moving because the sun's up and we're learning who we are. And we're now moving. This particular picture on the bottom is hip hop from 2000. But up here is the the elders, stooled elders chair from Anropic and the Tawi in stool elders. And you notice that they have the black candle and the 3 red candles. And the reason why, they're coming together in unity, that's what they said. But at the same time, there's work to be done. And so when that work is done, then we'll see that growth. Right over here is the book for the Tawi elders who have just been initiated into or brought into the Tawi family village. And you've been seeing them on your tape earlier this week. That book, they broke through with some real interesting things. They took the warriors, the nation builders, and the elders, combined them into one unit. Their name also means that, and went through the stages together. That's interesting. Call and find out about that. This particular book right here, if I'm not mistaken, is called Heroes Journey Self-Mastery. This right here comes from the Afrocentric school. We're learning all the time who we are, where we are. And of course right here sitting on this book is Jamaica. We're still moving along. Here is the light that would normally be lit and flaming, but now we can keep it lit like this. because we're doing tradition and we're doing reasoning. We moved over to the next session with one of the older seasoned Kanaras. And that one has been around for a while. Of course, we have the makeka, the mat, the corn, the Kanara, the candles, the fruit, the books. I mean, the zawadis. We have everything here. But the most important thing is we move to the center where the red is this high noon. And what we're saying is the state of Ohio is coming together. And I know it's going to be like, what? No. Yeah, we're coming together. Also, throughout the United States, Kwanzaa is coming together. Also, throughout the world, Kwanzaa is together. We're celebrating our oneness. The four corners means the four corners of the Ohio, the four corners of the states, and the four corners of the national. That's poured into the round, which means that we're making that circle. And once the round four corners are poured in, then it's poured into the smaller unity cup, and then that is poured into the dirt. Now, normally you see a plant. That was from before. Now, because of the newer groups, we have the mkeka as the pot holder, and the new dirt, which we got to work and get it ready to show these new seeds. And the new seeds are here. And that's what means that we'll find out next year this time if that's going to do. Did we do what we said we were going to do? Because we said the red, black, and green, and the black, red, and green are working together for Umoja. As we move up to the Kanara, we see that on the top we have the family. And the family is there with the elder, the Umoja. To your right, your left, is the warrior of Kujichagulia. And the other warrior to the right in the green, Ujima. Woo! So, and as we go down, there's money in this box. Because we have to invest. The only thing that we're going to do later is start adding like, how can I put it? Calculators. Because we done moved into the era of, So this would make this even more up to date when you have these kinds of things up in here, because that means that we're moving along. All of this is based on a lot from over here when the movie Sankofa, boy, that opening in Sankofa, the drummer there said, y'all can't film here. In fact, the family said, y'all can't film here unless y'all open with the ritual drummer, and they did. The movie was powerful. And then we moved to, that Nia was the purpose there. We moved to Kujichagulia over here, and Kujichagulia is like, wow.
Talking about Kuumba?
Yeah. Kuumba, yeah. Creativity. Out of Kujichagulia. He reminds me of Kujichagulia up there. But anyway, Kuumba, the creativity is also locked in with the rest of it, because that's how we move on to Imani. The faith is based in knowledge. The knowledge of how we look at time and how our ancestors looked at time. And we use time to our benefit. And so the time benefits us because of the relationship between the male and the female principle coming together and moving forward. As we move forth over here, we keep going. We're getting ready, the sun is getting ready to go down. We're into the Tawi family village area, and this is what they do once a month at Per Ankh. They have a saw and a set there, plus others, and their display is set up and Kwanzaa set up. They do hold on a second. They give what they call sabers, which give a message. And the sabers give a message. One of the things that they take a look at the Tawi family village is just set up as a magnet. And if you notice what the magnet does, if you have the magnet down and you put the magnet, it'll attract right to it. It'll attract it. But if the magnet or if your personality is such that it's not going to do that, it'll repel it. Now we want it to, it's repelling it. It's staying away. I said something to attract it. So we're taking a look at that's our thing, is to attract each other, learning how to be a part of each other and attract each other. We move over to the African folklore, which is the stories of Brother Hatim and others tell us about the folklore story. We have stories right in the city, all those kind of stories. These masks and all of these things were not meant to scare people. They were meant to protect and do things from that nature. That's why the movement, as they were moving and moving along, the certain movements with the mask meant that they were keeping away certain things from the children and from the village. And here we move towards the elder's chair and sometimes the ancestor's chair. And of course, you know elders sometimes because they have to move with like this here. And you see the elders moving like that, but then all of a sudden something happens and you see the elders, hitting. So don't be fooled by your elders now. They be like acting up sometimes. These drums, of course, are family. The way some of our people say that the deeper the voice is the language of the family. And so this one has a deep voice, this one a middle voice, and this was a high voice. And so they call them like Doom, Kinkini, and Samba, like that. So when we teach it, when I teach it from the point of view that this is the mother. And the mother, she keeps the bottom. All right. And then we move to the ancestors area. In the cases are memorabilia pieces from our ancestors. One of the cases also have a piece of memorabilia from a young man that was on his skateboard and got hit by a car. I don't even know if they found that gentleman yet or not, or female, whoever hit him. But we were called in to do. But we have Walt Neal stuff. A lot of our ancestors pieces are in these cases. Once a year, over at the ancestors, we combine tradition, which we light the candles, and we combine that with reason, which we have the candles now, which you can do that with. So we've tried to keep up with tradition and reason. The Flowers Mama Fadia at one point really introduced us to the flower ceremony that we normally do at that time. There would be, the Unity Cup is normally glass, and we do that, and then people come up to talk about their ancestors and their family members. But the journey is just beginning, because now we move along over here and go to what would be, in my understanding, the sun. So all that you learn in that cycle, you bring here, and you're moving on to the next. Now, everything wasn't smooth. You had to defend. You had to be humble. You had to understand. You had to be, all of these things. And then you have to take this with you to the next day. And if you're hurt all the time and think that you're, how can I put this, property of somebody else, Brother Ised says, you're property of Africa. property of Africa. And that means you're property of yourself and how that moves. So as this cycle goes around and goes around and goes around and goes around. Time you get to a spot of the 4 spots, are you talking to the ancestors about what they did with a problem or what they did with a good feeling? Sometimes we get in trouble with good feelings. Are you reading the appropriate information? Are you looking at the pictures from the past and the present? This particular picture I didn't tell you about. This is here from the 2nd annual drum thing with Mo Cham and Catherine Dunham in St. Louis. I was at that, and you can see I got everybody's drums there. Anybody that you know that's African drumming from back in the 80s, that's when the thing was just getting started. In fact, the drummers from Africa had djembes like that over there. We had kungas. We had kungas strapped on ourselves, but we wanted to know. We wanted the knowledge. We wanted to learn the language. Drumming is a language. Each of the cultures have a certain language. For instance, oh, I'm getting excited here. The Congo. You sit down there. So you got oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Then that other one go. Then the other one. And you get to just having fun. So learning who you are and who we are is really important. And this basically is me taking a look at the system of the circle. One important thing is I'm standing now in which is called the spiritual world. And above me or further up is called the physical world. When you go to sleep at night, you enter into what they call the dream state. And that word dream state is a whole nother world, whole nother understanding. So as we take a look at our scholars and how they see the things, remember it's moving in this circle. But when we read from Europe and the understanding, they have us reading left to right. Our circle is from right around, not right and stop and then go back. It's around. So we must understand that understanding. If there's any questions or anything about that, or any comments, because there's certain people out there that know more than I do about this, because I'm just coming to the point where I'm moving like this. Would really like to say thank you very, very much. This has been an opening of our eyes, our ears, and our nose, and sometimes our mouth for Kwanzaa. But don't let it stop just now. G&J Journey, well, thank you very much. And last night it blew my mind. I'm sitting there watching something, and my wife sticks the thing in front of me, And here it is, we coming out with stuff that we did, I don't know how many years ago that was, so thank you. But our journey, and we need to discuss this, when we look at things from an African-centered point of view, it does change the way things are. And there was one person that said, when you look at things, it changes the point of view of it, or your understanding of it. So take a look at us from that circle, and look it up on talk to some friends about it. Call up Brother Hot Tim and others, because they had some folks on I think it's, I don't know if it's the television or the circuit, I don't know what you call it, but they was explaining a lot of this stuff from mathematics and everything from an African perspective. Again, thank you very much, and I hope I didn't confuse you, but I feel real good about myself. Black people, I feel good about myself. I want to feel good again, because I walk with good, and I am good. Good, better, best, never let it rest. When you're good is your better, and your better is your best. I'm out.